Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest online event here at the University of California, Merced. We are going to jump right into this presentation that is focused on the School of Engineering advising. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and hand things over to my colleague, Carla.
So if you are here and you're thinking, hey, Carla, I joined this one because I want to change majors into the School of Engineering, there's a couple things you should know. One is that you must have met all admissions criteria by the time that you were admitted to UC Merced, meaning that you cannot change majors into the School of Engineering or into a major unless you met those major criteria. So for engineering students, it's a little bit easier because most of them have the similar criteria. So you just need to shoot me a message and I can kind of look at your profile and let you know, yes, no, as long as you weren't admitted by exception, you will be all right. By now, you should have received an email from me about articulation or something else if we have something to talk about. So you either did receive an email from me or you didn't receive an email. If you did, it tells you, hey, here's articulation. Here's a couple more questions that I have for you. If you didn't receive an email, that means that I looked at your profile and I said, okay, I have no questions for you. I am ready to plan your courses out. And so we'll talk about what that means and how that's going to be affected a little bit later on. So check your email. I should have emailed you as of June 1st or anytime thereafter. Most of you, I'm going to say 95% of you should have received an email from me either yesterday or today. And if you've received an email and have been chatting with me, thank you for emailing me back. So just let me know. All right. Like I said, I'm going to answer all questions in the chat at the end of the presentation, just FYI. All right. All right, so part of this conversation is also going to talk about rolling in courses, what courses I'm going to select for you guys, we're going to suggest for you guys to take, and then our mentoring meeting. All right, some general advising information. I'll try to go through it as quick as I can. Just important links for you, Engineering Advising and the Registrar's Office. Those two websites are exceptionally important for you to know. For you to have. So just kind of keep that in mind. The engineering advising one has our appointments, walk-ins, our policies, major information. There's flow charts that I will be posting or we will post on that in specific forms to the School of Engineering. Some of you got emails from me saying I need you to submit this via the engineering advising website. So I make sure to try to include as much information as I do. Registrar has all university policies, all procedures, all deadlines, and has all the university forms. They all require you to have double authentication to be able to go in. So you need to set up your dual if you haven't done so. I'm going to request that you guys don't ever Google, because typically when you Google stuff, you end up coming out with a lot more like questions at the end of the day, because it's just not significant to you. So just go onto the websites and search within the websites. All right. The way that advising works is that we have both walk-ins and appointments. And so we do both online and in person. So you can end up coming and meeting with me in person, online, however you like. You can do walk-ins. It was essentially that. You log in and it's walk-in hours. So you get 5 minutes with me and then we move on. Appointments tend to be 20 minutes long. And part of those meetings are that we do short, long-term planning. We do degree requirement clarification. And I am also the person that approves you for graduation. So there's my contact information and everything like that. Again, you can look me up on the website. I'm your transfer advisor. You've gotten emails from me both to your personal and to your UC Merced one. Just know that after the summer ends, we will no longer be using your personal email address. You must send everything via your UC Merced email address. So sometimes I may request that you submit things through the UC Merced email address just because it is more confidential. All right. Typically after the summer, the way that it works, if you want to get some help, is that you have to do the research. You utilize all the tools that are available to you. You prepare yourself for all the questions that you have. You can come in with a list of questions. That's great, because then you know what you need to get responded to. We have 20 minutes. Sometimes these sessions do have to move a little bit quicker. And then we meet and we try to help you as much as we can. I am the transfer advisor, but that does not mean you have to specifically meet with me. My team is very, very good, and they can meet with you, and they are very, very able to assist you in any time. All right. All right. Minimum grade policy for you guys. C- is passing here. If you earn a C- or higher, you passed the class. If you earn below C-, you did not pass the class. your GPA resets at this point. So anything that you've taken at the community college does not count. Anything you've taken at another four-year institution does not count, with the exception of other UCs. If you attend another UC, then that GPA will come with you to UC Merced. All right. Again, C- is everything. And you must maintain a 2.0 GPA at all times, and that is the required GPA for graduation. Things you should know: courses and their requirements can and do change. So prerequisites end up changing, and we make sure to try to communicate that change with you. But just keep in mind that that is something that will happen. So we may plan a whole entire nice, beautiful schedule that will get you graduated in 2.5 years or whatever time it might take, and then we have to revisit it. It is part of the process, and we'll try to communicate as much as we can with what those prerequisite changes are as soon as we know them. For UC Merced, full-time status is 12 units. 11 units is not full-time status. It's not part-time status. You are not able to be part-time status unless you meet one of 4 requirements. And those 4 requirements, we can talk about it if you need to be part-time. All right. Grade policy, like I said, C-. Unit policy is that on average, you should be around 50 units per academic per semester. That's just kind of our policy. All right. Normal progress, very, very long, essentially saying try to be in 15 units. You have quite some time to be able to complete your degree. Repeat policy. So like I said, C- is passing. Anything below C-, you have to repeat it so that you get credit for it. The first repeat, you end up just emailing me saying, hey, Carla, I did not pass this class. I need to repeat it, and I want to repeat it in this term. Here's my ID number, and I give you the override, and you repeat the class that term. The second plus time, that will be something that requires additional forms, and we'll talk about it if you ever need to have that addressed. All right, so some people might want to know about declaring double majors, or if they want to add a minor. So there are a no-go double majors list, and this is that list. There is just also available on our website, on the engineering advising website under major declaration. So you can go ahead and look at that and kind of see. If you want to declare a minor, you can do so. Minors are 4 to 6 additional classes. There's a big old list. So you're welcome to take a look at it. It is on the registrar's website. We can talk about it in the fall semester. You still have to wait anyhow to be able to declare a minor. And you need to get a GPA at UC Merced first. So double majors, if you want to do a double major and you know for Adam, you're very adamant that you're going to do a double major that is, not on this list, then shoot me a message and we need to start planning it now before your fall semester starts. All right, degree requirements. All of you are in the 22-23 catalog year. It is when you came in, your degree requirements are there and are listed clearly there. The only exception are my bioengineering students. You are all under the 2021 catalog year. The reason being is that prerequisites change significantly and requirements change significantly in these past 2 years, or this year and last. So we put you back to one that made more sense for where you guys will be taking classes, especially since some courses won't be offered until about 2 years from now. And we don't want you here for 6 years. So we're trying to work with it. And so we will continue to work on it. For bioengineering students, we're kind of going to work with the catalog 2021. All right. So at this point, I've kind of been working off of catalog. And the way that the catalog works here at UC Merced is that you can look at the catalog and kind of do that, or you can look at my degree path. And my degree path is a more readable version of the catalog, and it tells you where everything fits, everything you've taken, where it fits. So it is called an audit, and you will end up pulling your audit, and you'll see where all the classes that you took articulated into, right? So some updates for you. Like I mentioned, you may have received an email from me. If you did, that email said, hey, this class isn't articulated as equivalent to this class. I need you to look into it, or I need you to submit a course articulation or course approval through natural sciences, through Shaw, through through School of Engineering. If you didn't receive that email, that means that either one of 2 things happened. One is that I took a look and your community college already has an articulation agreement through Assist with us. And so I requested that those things be fixed on your audit, or that it already is fixed and it's already there. So you're welcome to log into My Degree Path and pull an audit for yourself. I'll show you guys kind of what that process looks like, and so that you're a little bit more aware. I may request official transcripts from you guys when you take classes. I know admissions requires it for your admissions, so I won't need it sent to me. Just send it to admissions, your official transcripts, your official APIB scores. I may need your high school transcript. If you attended high school in the US and you didn't complete your American Histories and Institutions requirement, and that's something that, you know, I do try to take a look at during the summer, but maybe we'll have to come back to it in the fall semester during our meeting and say, oh, look, I did notice it now. But when you pull your audit, you will see that as a requirement. If you see you're missing it there and you're like, oh, I completed it with some sort of criteria, then just let me know and we can talk about it a little bit more. All right, so like I said, My Degree Path does have an audit system to it. And this is kind of how it looks when you sign into My Degree Path. Mine's a little bit different because it does have things that I can do. I can look up a student and things like that. But essentially yours, you'll see this audit right here. And this is where you're gonna go ahead and just go into, and you're gonna see that everything's there. We do have other tabs up here that you can kind of use. There's a planner up here. There's also the plans, the educational four-year plans. So we do have graduation plans. They are going to be available to you guys at the end of the summer. We do not have them posted yet for your catalog year, with the exception of bio, which again, bio E, you guys will be using the fall 2020 plans. So you can go in now and you can take a look at it because that's already built. But everybody else just got to wait and hang tight, and we will build out graduation plans for you guys. And they're kind of a preset model, and then you end up building yours based off of that. All right. All of them will be labeled transferred so that you are aware, and you do not need to use the regular freshman one because it does have classes on there that you guys are away from. So always use the transfer ones. All right. All right, so like I said, all of them will be labeled transfer some way, shape, or form. So most of them are labeled this way. As I said, we're gonna wait until mid-August. So just be patient and wait on it. I know some of you guys are really gung-ho and wanna know how long it's gonna take you. I can eyeball it and let you know. But essentially, I'm gonna request that you guys wait because I'm gonna give you guys a list of classes based upon all the information you provided in admissions so that you enroll in those classes, all right? All right, so when you do an audit, you hit the audit tab and you request an audit. It'll tell you what your major is. You can always select a different major and request an audit for a different major if you would like to, or different catalog year if you would like to. Those are options for you along the way, but typically it'll show up this page, and the only thing you have to do is hit that Run Degree Audit Plan or Run Declared Program, and it will pull up. It'll pull up the plan, and then you just got to click into it. All right. When you click into it, it will show you something like this. It'll tell you your name. It'll tell you your program. If it has a what if right next to your academic advisor's name, or if my name is missing this summer, which it may be, if there says what if here, then you are not in your official plan. You are in a what if plan. So for your official audit, you need to make sure that you're doing that. All right. So some things that end up showing up is your units, your GPA, your requirements. So that all kind of looks is part of it. All right. There will be a lot of notations. Green means you got to complete. Red means not complete. Blue means that you're in progress of completing it. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to request that you guys pull an audit, but not quite yet. I'm going to request that you guys wait, give me a week or so. So I did submit some additional requests for some of you. So if you may pull it and see that your articulation, although it's good, isn't showing up. That's because, like I said, I was working on them yesterday and today, and it has to go into another process. And so that will take a little bit longer. There are a lot of general education criteria. And we do have these things called intellectual experience badges. So those are kind of something that we need to talk about, but the badges we won't cover until we talk about it in the fall, because I need to see where your classes articulate to. And in all honesty, I worry more about your major specific classes than your GEs during the summer. All right. Yeah, like I mentioned, you will be required to meet with me in the fall semester after your second week. That's when the plans will be published, and then you guys will go in, build a plan, and then we'll meet, we'll talk about it, we'll make sure we fix your audit and anything that's missing at that point. All right. Bits of advice, time to degree, and really talking about it, we're at 2.5, 3 years. Most of you will graduate in 2.5 years. My bioengineers are the ones that are more looking towards 3, but we can see where we're at. A bioengineering student without bio 1 is probably looking at 3.5 years. I know that some of you have bio 2, so we'll talk about it a little bit more if you want to plan it out. Bioengineering, you can do so now. Everybody else just hang tight, but essentially we're looking at 2.5 years for the majority of you. So something that I just want you guys to know is that you may get something that's called a SAP appeal at the end of spring semester. It's mostly because of your time, how many units you've taken at the community college. You fill it out, you do that. I just want to give you guys a heads up. If you get an email in the spring semester, at the end of spring semester about it, just an FYI, we'll come back to it, and just don't panic. We'll come back to it. All right. You are at a UC, so I always recommend that you guys do research. It also counts for your degree requirements, but UC by definition is a research institution. So please do research while you're here. It's great on a resume. It's good to get connections, get those letters of recommendation. It's wonderful. Please do research, consider it while you're here. You will be doing culminating experiences, either capstone or software engineering. For my CSC students do software, everybody else does capstone in different variations of it. So just kind of know that you will be doing a culminating experience while you're here. Some more information for you guys to have. Math 32 is critical for CSC students. Engineering 45, engineering 57 is vital for ME students. Bio E21, which is a fall only class, is vital for my bioengineering students, and Bio E and MSc students have fall spring only classes. I'm very aware of that, so you guys will be able to, we'll talk about it a little bit more. All right, prerequisites so prerequisites is a very big convoluted thing. Just know that there's 2 different sort of areas. One is the technical electives and one is a required course. So if you have a technical elective, it's easier. You do a form on the registrar's website. If it's a required class, talk to me. We'll talk about what the process looks like. If you have time conflicts while you're registering for classes, there's a form on the registrar's website that you need to fill out. Class sending error, you contact me and we figure that out. Most of these errors, I'm trying to get through them and make sure I clear you guys in advance, but just FYI for all of you. All right. So things coming up, you will be enrolling in classes. I will be sending you a list of courses to enroll in, hopefully by the 17th of June. It is based on the audit content. So like I said, I want you guys to pull an audit. I want you guys to see what all of that is and how it looks, and kind of take a look and let me know if there's anything you need to fix. And we will work with that if I haven't emailed you. I do request that you wait until probably early next week to pull an audit, just to make sure that everything that I did submit does get changed. All right. And you'll be enrolling in courses the week of June 20th. Oh, I'm sorry. You will, for enrolling in courses, the week of June 20th is when all classes that we've saved seats in will be available to you. So the way that it works is that we do pause for our continuing students on their enrollment. They can't access any of these classes during this 2-week period. So it is a 2-week period. So you guys need to enroll when your window opens up. The first week is when all the classes will be released and you will be able to see it. And you can use My Degree Path. There's a planner feature. You can use that to plan out like all the classes that you want to take, and it'll give you the ideal schedule for you to do. You do have the CRNs and you can input them into this online system so you can enroll in the classes when your window opens up. So you can utilize that tool, or you can do it manually, however you like. But the first week is when you'll see all the classes that are available to you. And in the second week tends to be at the beginning, either Monday or Tuesday, your window will open up. So you will need to enroll in classes as quickly as possible when your window opens up. I will be available for you guys during that time. So just kind of keep that in mind that I am there. I will have walk-in hours as much as I can throughout the day. And then you guys can come in, ask quick questions, pop back out, and keep working on it. All right. This is all walking hours for a quick 5 minutes, and that's it. We move on to the next student. So it's just trying to figure it out, trying to make sure that we get you guys into the classes you need to get into before it opens up for the first year students who can, some of them can take the classes that you guys are taking. So just keep that in mind. There is, after the 2 weeks, on July 5th, it will open up to all students. So all continuing students, all new students, everybody will have access to all of these classes. So I cannot guarantee that you will have the available classes if you don't register when the window opens up. All right. All things for you to keep in mind. I know that we sent you more emails giving you all this information. I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of it. I will be online the week that you enroll in classes, but right after that, effective July 1st through the 17th, I am on vacation. So it's important, A, that we get you in classes before it opens up to the continuing students, and B, if you have a need for something, there are going to be the other academic advisors available. So I'll send you guys an email saying, hey, I'm going on vacation. Here is who your contact person will be moving forward during my vacation time. All right. So just keep that in mind. And then remember, we'll see each other in the fall for sure during our mentoring meeting. All right. I think that's it. That's all I got for my presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and go onto the chat and I will respond to any questions that are there. So hopefully you guys got some useful information for my presentation. All right, let's see. I saw an assist that many of the courses for computer science are not articulated from community colleges. Are there any prerequisite undergraduate courses that are rarely articulated even with petitions? So CSE is a little bit difficult to explain in the sense that your admissions criteria are not exactly the classes that will show up on your audit. So your admissions criteria stated that you had to complete CSE 20 and 21 or its equivalent courses. We have another sort of internal memo structure that if you did that, you could credit for CSE 22. If you did CSE 30, then you'll be able to get a little bit different criteria. That's why I'm asking you to look at your audit. Your audit will tell you you got credit for CSE 22, 24, might say, most of you will have a notation saying waived via memo for CSE 24, and then you'll see that you have credit for CSE 30. If you don't have that, then you did not get waived from that criteria, which means that you'll have to take that class. So like I said, give us a couple more days before you pull your audit to see where all of that is at. But typically articulation's a little bit wonky for CSE. All right, let's see, what's the next one? If we met by Getty, should we be good? And if I received a C in Calculus 1, but an A in Calculus 2 and Calculus 3 also, what is Math 21? Okay, so I get C helps, but not all the way. So you may still have some general education criteria that you may have to complete. It just really depends on what classes you took and how that fits in. It's always, if you got it, great, submit it. If you didn't get it, then it's okay. We'll just work with whatever you have. All right. Math 21 is Calc 1. So I know that some of you, I sent messages saying, oh, you're missing Calculus 1, where is it? Just email me back and we kind of will talk about it that way. The Calc 1, some of you got AP scores, like a AP Calc AB score of a 3, which your community college accepted, but we don't accept. And I'm figuring that part out. And I will be in contact with you guys via email once I figure that out. And I've been very clear in my email that I wanted to give you guys a heads up that you may have to take it. And I try to make sure that I tell you heads up, hey, here's what's happening. All right, so just kind of keep in mind that that's something we're working through. But I do try to include you as much as I can. All right, let's see. Will we be able to meet on a one-to-one? So yes, we can meet on a one-to-one. You can schedule a meeting with me at any point or time. But if you're looking for me to give you a list of classes to take, or you're looking for me to do for your graduation plan, I'm going to send you a list of classes to take. Your graduation plan is going to be done in our mandatory fall meeting. So if you have questions and you want them responded to, feel free. You can log on to the engineering advising website, see my advisor, and click that, and you can make an appointment with me, or you can see what my walk-in hours are. This past week, I've had like very little walk-in hours, but I update them on a weekly basis. And so you can make an appointment, we can talk that way. That is completely fine. Just kind of keep in mind that you need to come in with some preset questions, and I am asking you to wait until your audits are updated, probably Tuesday-ish of next week. All right. How will we know what class to register for fall 2022? Again, I'm going to send you guys a list of classes to register for. Then you'll go online and you'll look at the schedule of classes. And then after that, when your window opens up, you can go online and look at when your window opens up. Actually, now you're welcome to check and see when your window will open up for registration, and then you'll be able to register for your classes. As soon as your window opens up, I will input a whole bunch of overrides. So if you see my name popping up a lot of times, you will notice that, because I have to manually go in and give you a lot of overrides for your classes, because the way the system works, it's a very manual process at this point. After the fall semester, once the fall semester begins, it'll be a more automated thing. But just to get us through the summer, it's a very manual process. All right. Will the recorded presentation be available for us after today? Yes, that is why I'm recording it. I will send it to the to orientation, and orientation will publish it and send it out to everybody. I'm taking summer courses at my community college, and when should I report the grade I will receive at the end of it? It is the required second English course. So if you are taking summer classes at the community college, make sure you include that in your admissions documents, because I don't know that you're taking summer classes. So if you're taking summer classes and it's not on your admission stuff, you need to go back in and add it in. So that way I'm not telling you, hey, you have to take a writing class. And you're like, I am in a writing class. And then that just makes it more back and forth on our end. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying, if you know for sure, or you can also send me an email and say, hey, Carla, just following up, I'm taking this class at this course, but I also did my admission stuff. So at this point, I've looked at all of your profiles. I've already updated and sent and updated as much as I can. I sent you guys emails saying, hey, here are things that I see missing. And at the same time, I've already preset the classes that I'm planning on sending to you guys. I'll take one more look at it before I send it out to you guys next week. But just keep that in mind, that a lot of things are done through that admissions profile that you have. All right, when we come to school for orientation, will we be going back home, or will we need to stay awaiting semester start? No, orientation is a one-day thing, one-day experience, so one day. I had the official transfer set to office admissions, but the course I took in spring semester. So yeah, and I'm gonna check that it says it's not been sent. Okay, that's fine. That's completely fine. So transcripts. Again, a lot of manual process. Transcripts, we have to manually go in, verify it, and click a box saying your transcripts were received. Then we have to go in and look at your transcripts and say, okay, these are the letter grades that they got, and things like that. If it is on your admissions profile, when you pull your audit, it does show that it's in progress, or it shows a question mark. It shows that this is equivalent to this class. You guys know to use Assist. You guys know to use Transferology to make sure that your classes are articulated over. I'm sure your community college advisors have told you about assist.org, or you've been using it all along. So if it's on there and it's articulated, it will go through the system, and it's a manual process that we have to kind of get it all fixed. And that's why I have the fall meeting with you guys to make sure that we get that all fixed. If I've emailed you about articulation requests that you need to follow up with, and you guys need to do that. If by next Tuesday, when you pull your audit, you see that there are still things that need to be updated, you're like, hey, on Assist, this is equivalent to this class. Why is it not updated on my audit? Send me an email and we will go ahead and talk about it then. So just keep that in mind. It's a very manual process. It takes quite a bit of time. The same thing goes for the checklist. If you really want somebody to check that off, you can contact the Students First Center, and they can try to see if they can check it off. But again, very manual process. It takes quite a bit of time. Your patience is greatly appreciated. And that's why I work a lot on what you guys wrote in your admissions profile, because I know that that tends to be a big thing, that admissions has to manually go in and do a lot of things, or the student's registrar has to also do that as well. So we're very grateful for all the work that they do, and we try to go based upon the information that is available. All right. Let's see. You're welcome. You missed my answer on orientation. Orientation is not, it's a one-day event. You can go home. Also, you're welcome to attend orientation. This is sort of our orientation. That's why I gave you my orientation presentation. But yeah, that's kind of what I have for you guys. I appreciate your time. Let's see, one more came in. If I want to change my majors from CSE to ME, would you be able to approve it before I enroll in classes? Maybe. Again, changing majors, we have to take a look at if you met the change of major, if you met the criteria for that particular major at the time of admissions. So email me, and we'll kind of do that. And I will send everybody in here my email. So we should email you right now if we are planning to double major or minor. The minor, not the biggest of deals. We can talk about it. You have quite some time to take classes. If you're planning on double majoring and the double majors are not on that no-go list, then yeah, email me, let me know. Even if they're on the no-go list, you can let me know, but I honestly will only tell you that you cannot double major in that because it is not approved by faculty. And there is no petition process for that. So unfortunately, that no-go list is really strict. But yeah, if you're planning on double majoring, please send me an email. So you guys have my email. I've been trying to get in contact with you guys if I needed something in the past 2 days mostly, but I will try to work as much as I can with you guys as we move forward. So with no more questions, feel free to log off. I'll stay and answer more questions as they come in. But if you got what you needed, thank you for your time. I really appreciate that you guys came and listened to me for today. All right. Let's see, another question. In order to get a waiver for the health insurance, I need to submit, okay, health insurance. I cannot respond to health insurance questions. So I am going to direct it to Students First Center, which you sent me a direct message. So let's see if I can get that over to them. All right.
Did you want me to try to answer that over chat, Carla, or?
You can, you're here, so please let me ask you the question. In order to get the waiver for the health insurance, I need to submit a lot of proofs of vaccination. All my proofs are in another language, but I have them translated by the notary of my country. Is that okay? Or should I have them translate again somewhere in the US?
So I think that's just for the immunization records that they are speaking about. For all health insurance waiver, that's the only items that they are requesting, health services, is just that you have like a valid primary care physician for non-emergencies within 55 miles of UC Merced. So you have to show proof of that, like you have like an insurance company, your health insurance. But in terms of like the vaccination records or immunization records, that's going to be more for compliance of that, not the health insurance waiver. I can put in the chat if students have questions like specifics about their health insurance, they can email insurance@ucmerced.edu, and I could put also the phone number, but contacting via the email is the most direct way to get in contact with the insurance coordinator at UC Merced Health Services.
Great, thank you. If you guys have any other questions or anything in general, please let us know. If not, like I said, we'll be here for a couple more minutes, and then we will all kind of sign off. So feel free. There is nothing else after this. You guys don't have to go back to the main room. You guys just sign off, and I will sign off in a couple more minutes if we have no other additional questions. Don't worry. I'm fine being on my own. Okay, let's see. All right, so I saw that a flu vaccination is required. However, I missed the flu season and won't be able to get the vaccine before fall starts. Will the flu vaccine be offered on campus?
To answer that question, usually they do have like clinics they do around flu season. There's no exact dates yet for that. So you would want to just be on the lookout for that. I can link the health services website where you can stay up to date with their information.
Thank you, Jose. All right, so is there anything we need to do or update if we're taking a summer class here? No. At UC Merced, I see it on your profile, so no, you don't need to do anything for me. I've noticed the couple students who are taking classes here, like somebody's enrolled in engineering 57, and I saw that, and so when I plan out your classes, I plan it according to you being in that class. All right, so I give you the next in the sequence, and I always try to sequence you guys out as much as I can. That's kind of the one thing I try to do, is make sure that the classes I give you, so the way I work in planning your schedules out is that I take the required classes and I say, these are required classes, you have to enroll in these. And then I tell you, these are classes that aren't required, but are options for you. A lot of my CSE students, you guys will be taking 1 to 2 CSE classes, and then maybe, well, all of you, none of you came in with it. So all of you will be taking Math 32, or at least none that I have reviewed. Maybe some new students or somebody's taking it over the summer, but none that I've reviewed thus far have Math 32 completed, and all of my computer science and engineering students will be taking that their very first semester. It's a prerequisite for another class, so it just makes it a lot easier for you to do that, but it is a tough class. Then most likely you'll be doing 1 or 2 other CSE classes, depends on what you guys came in with, and then I give you options of some other courses you can take. And so that tends to be the way that it'll work, is that I'll give you about 3 required classes. My MEs, my BioE students, you guys will have your 001 as a required course. Those are 1 unit classes, so you may have 4 required classes instead of 3. But essentially I try to do that. And if you're a student that was far in advance, then I'm just like, you have a lot of options. I tell you, choose 2 of this, or choose this or this, because choose you whatever you choose, I will work with in the fall. So I try to make sure that I tell you this is required, this is options. You do not have to enroll in everything I send you guys. I'm sending you probably a list of 5 to 6 classes for each individual student. And that is 20 plus units, depends. And so you're definitely not that. You want to aim for around 15 units. If 12 to 15 units is what you want to aim for. Just keep that in mind when I'm planning your guys' classes out. I try to make sure that I try to give you guys options to make sure that you're not overwhelmed your very first semester. But it is up to you to know what you can handle, what you can't. I always recommend that you enroll in more classes if you want to enroll in more classes, and then first 3 weeks you have the option of dropping a class. As long as you're above 12 units, you can come down to 12 units and then kind of stay at 12 units for the rest of the semester. You can always do a course withdrawal if you wanted to later down the road. If that's something you wanted to do, we'll talk about it then as well. But always be very open to being flexible with your academic schedule. Remember that this is a new institution, so you're learning everything that has to do with this institution. You guys are really great students. You guys came from wonderful community colleges, but the one thing I can say is that the way your community college works is probably not the way that UC Merced works. Yes, we might be on the same semester schedule, but what faculty require or are requesting, or how they provide their like help and things like that, you will you'll have to get used to it. It's a different environment. You have to get used to it. So just keep that in mind, even if you're coming from Merced College, which is right down the road from us, but still, it's a different feel to the campus, different feel to the faculty, and you kind of have to get used to it. So just keep that in mind when you're preparing for your first term. Is there an upper limit on the credit hours per semester? Yes, you are given a maximum of 18 units. So 18 units is the maximum that you can take. You cannot request more than that your very first semester. You will be automatically denied, because I need you guys to at least survive one semester. And then after that, if you have above, I think it's above a 3.0 GPA, I think it's a 3.5 your first semester, then your second semester, you can request more units. After that, you can request more units if you have above a 3.0. It's just to ensure that you guys are kind of settling in that very first semester. Is there a sort of off-topic question, but where do you find your student ID number? So you can go on to, there's a lot of different places. So your ID number can be found, and maybe Jose knows a little bit better, quick way to find your ID number. But for me, I always log in, get into your audit, and your ID number is right there on your audit. It's like one of the first things that you see is your ID number. Jose, do you have a quicker way?
A quicker way to
get your ID number?
With your ID number, you can view your student checklist. It'll be on there. If they don't have their student ID, when they log into the Connect portal, there's a mobile ID that they can look at. But usually when students call in, I would say just checking the checklist at the top right-hand corner. That's best look.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anything else? Because we are approaching our time. So anything else? If not, we're all going to log off and we're going to enjoy our afternoons or evenings. All right. So going once, going twice. Thank you also very much for your time. You are welcome to leave at this moment. I will also be exiting. Oh, wait, hold on. What if I want to increase my GPA to transfer to another UC campus? I don't know quite what that means. Maybe we can talk about this one-on-one, because I'm not sure what your question necessarily is. So if you're thinking of transfer to another UC campus and you're an upper division transfer student, typically the way that it works is upper division to upper division. You're going to have to repeat some classes, because UC to UC does not have an articulation agreement similar to the community college to UC. If you're thinking of going to another campus, you may want to go and apply to that campus and see what that is. So just kind of keep that in mind, because UC to UC, it's a little bit harder. You might have to redo some courses. They may ask for certain articulation agreements, but GPA wise, I mean, you do get a GPA once you start at UC Merced. So I guess when you would apply to that UC, that would be the new GPA that you would input, but your admissions to that UC would require you to have everything, right? So just a lot more to unpack there with that question, which maybe we talk about it one-on-one. All right. Thank you all. Have a good night.